Hello, and welcome to the final video of my short 3-video series of using Turkesterone from HTLT Supplements, their Turk Builder product, and beta Ecdysterone from Muscle Empire, which I bought from HR Supplements. This will go over my entire 12 weeks worth of use. I am not sponsored by any company, so not by either of these companies. I do have affiliate links for both HTLT Supplements and HR Supplements. So if you're going to buy anything from them, please use my affiliate links if you want to support me. It'll give me a small kickback. A lot of you have been, and it's actually really helped me out. Please leave a comment if you have any questions or any advice for my use going forward, because I plan to continue taking some things in the future, or if you just want to weigh in with your experience. You can also DM me on Instagram. People have DM'd me on Instagram with questions or just to leave their feedback. And I've been really enjoying the communication or community aspect of making these videos, because I like to interact and discuss, as opposed to people just watching my video and me getting no comments on things. So to start off, I'm going to go over the dosage or dosages I took of these products. For the first 4 weeks, I took 6 pills of each on both my training and my rest days. And I would spread them throughout the day by 3 hours because that was just the optimal way to spread them out while I was awake. Starting week 5, I changed my rest day dosage to 3 pills of each. And this was because someone DM'd me on Instagram asking if I still took the same dosage through my rest days, and suggested that maybe the maintenance dosage is all I needed on my rest days because I wouldn't be using them for my training days. So I reduced my dosage to 3 pills of each on my rest days, starting week 5 all the way till the end. And then starting week 9, I changed the timings of the dosages, which is 3 pills of each before my workout, and then 3 pills of each 12 hours later. And my thinking was that having a higher dosage would mean that it could potentially benefit me more on my workouts. And also my dinner, which is around the time I took the second set of 3 pills of each, is my largest meal of the day. So maybe having it with the largest meal would also benefit me for growth. However, I actually don't think this really made much of a difference. Maybe if I had a larger amount of data, as in I did this for a longer amount of time, like 3 months versus 3 months of each, then I would actually know. But as far as I can tell, it really made no difference. So total used of each product, I used about 504 pills of each, which comes down to 8.4 bottles of Turk Builder and 2.8 bottles of Muscle Empire Ecdysterone. So the cost of this, assuming that I buy 2 5-packs of Turk Builder to get the best bang for my buck, is $300 of Turk Builder. And luckily, I got the Ecdysterone on sale. They were $44 for the 180 pill count bottle during the holidays. So I bought 3 of those bottles, and that came to $132 for Ecdysterone. And the combined cost of both of those products was $432. Keep that in the back of your mind as I go through all of my data and I talk about my experience. $432 to use these products at a high dose for 12 weeks. My calories, my intention was to stay at maintenance. I'm a pretty experienced lifter. I've been lifting for almost 11 years now, and I've been dialed in with training and diet for almost 6 years. So maintaining or gaintaining at my level is more or less spinning your wheels, or you get minimal gain from those things. So I ate at maintenance because if I were to gain a significant amount of muscle while using Turkesterone and Ecdysterone, then it would be very obvious that these products worked. So my training was also not the same throughout. For the first 4 weeks, I did upper, lower, and then I finally got a YMCA membership on week 4. So starting week 5, I moved to a 5-day split or routine because I had to teach my dad how to deadlift because we could finally do barbell exercises, which is really good for strength progression. And my split was push, That was my bench day. Deadlifts, an entire day of deadlifts. Pull, and then upper lower. So basically, I now had a full back focus day and a day for deadlifts. And the need to have a full day of deadlifts was 100% confirmed after the first day, because it just took a lot of time for my dad to safely move the weight and learn the movement so that he wouldn't get injured. And that was also good for me because if I had like a 5 to 8 minute rest window between higher weight sets, then I could potentially move more weight. Let's get into my body weight to start for all of the data. And keep in mind that I am about 5'8" to 5'9", or around 175 centimeters. Looking at my weight, beyond fluctuations which were caused by cheat meals, cheat days, sodium intake, water intake, differing amount of sleep, I found that if I slept more, I would weigh less in the morning. And if I slept less, I could have potentially gained like 2 pounds somehow. Beyond these fluctuations, which I could find real reasons for, I stayed the same weight throughout the entire 12-week trial. If you look at the data alone with my body weight, that is extremely worrying. If I told you that I worked out for 12 weeks and my body weight did not change at all, just hearing that, and you're like, I spent $432 on Ecdysteroids for 12 weeks at a high dose. I gained no weight, and I lost no weight on my maintenance calories. That just makes it sound like this stuff did not do anything, right? And if you really only want to look at it like that, then it didn't do anything, and you can just not buy the product. But I'm going to continue on into the other data, but keep in mind, my body weight pretty much stayed the same throughout the entire 12-week trial, beyond normal fluctuations that have like normal causes. And coming out of that, we're going to go into my strength, and just keeping in the back of your mind that my body weight stayed the same. My strength was mainly focused on progressing my flat bench barbell, my deadlift barbell, and squat Smith. And I was mainly doing squats on the Smith machine because I did not want to teach my dad how to do barbell squats just yet, while he's still trying to learn barbell deadlifts and was suffering from some fatigue because it was a new movement to him. So anything that is not those 3 lifts are accessory lifts or things that I did not focus on progressing. However, I did reach a PR on flat bench on the Smith machine for 295 pounds for 3. And yes, that is accounting the fact that a Smith machine, it has only a 20-pound bar. So 295 pounds for 3, flat bench on the Smith machine. My seated shoulder press maxed at 170 pounds for 3 on the Smith machine. And deadlift Smith is not important because it's actually weaker than my barbell deadlift, which is kind of cool. So the whole goal, I had 2 main goals, right? I was shooting for the stars through this 12 weeks. I wanted to reach 3 plates on flat bench barbell, right? And that's 315 pound bench. If I can do 1 rep of that, that was my ultimate goal. But I knew that I was shooting for the stars. I was also shooting for 4-plate barbell deadlift, which is 405 pounds on the deadlift, which is a lot easier to achieve than that bench press, honestly. And squat was actually focusing more on my form. I didn't have a weight goal on my squat. I just wanted to get maximum depth while trying to reach weight. So if you see I put poor form on 2 of my lifts, that means that I didn't get to the depth that I wanted at that weight. So flat bench barbell. I progressed really well, as you see. I'm going to say that I started at 245 pounds for 5, because the 225 pound for 6 was me learning the lift again on the first week. And then I came back and I immediately jumped 20 pounds. And if I told you that I gained 20 pounds on my bench in a week, that is ridiculous. So we're just going to start at 245 pounds for 5 and then pretend that I progressed all the way to 285 pounds for 3. This is an extremely notable and good progression of bench press while I'm at maintenance calories over a 12-week period. My bench press didn't truly go up by 40 pounds because I also was not able to do that weight at 5 reps, but it is a extremely strong bench press, right? Looking at the strength standards on strengthlevel.com, for my body weight, I am above advanced bench press strength, which is extremely good. I'm heading towards elite now. To go beyond that, I actually think I could have progressed my flat bench further, but I was suffering some like minor, or I think you'd call them chronic injuries. So occasionally my left trap muscle would get injured. It actually happened twice, and then the injury would last for like 2 weeks, and then the pain was gone. But while it was injured, I was barely able to get any movement on any push movements, which was extremely weird. Plus, I started to develop like bad elbows, right? So there's like clicking or pain in my elbows, which I think they call tennis elbow. So I started wearing like these little elbow wraps, which have actually really supported my elbows. If I didn't injure my trap and my elbows, I feel like I could have definitely progressed more on the flat bench. And also with these injuries, it's possible that since my strength was going up so fast, I developed these injuries. If you can tell me that you gained 40 pounds on your bench in 12 weeks at the strength level that I was at before while maintaining, I would not believe you, honestly. So I kind of want to attribute this to the high dose turkesterone and ecdysterone, because this bench, my bench press strength, while I wasn't able to get full movement on some reps because of my injuries, my very, very minor injuries, I was able to move the weight, and I could tell that I would be able to move it better because the weight was not like truly that heavy. It was just scary to move it because of my injuries. Flat bench, I'm extremely happy with it. I could have been stronger if these injuries did not occur, and it is possible that the turkesterone and ecdysterone combination over 12 weeks did progress the bench to the strength that it's at. Now I'm at a advanced level of bench pressing. Almost elite, by the way. So deadlift, we'll say that I did start at 315 pounds for 2, which is basically a 3-plate deadlift. And I was able to progress over 12 weeks to 390 pounds. I'm not too familiar with progressing on deadlifts because I've seen so many people with these outrageously strong deadlifts, like 600 pounds or higher. But then on the other end, something around 500 pounds is also extremely impressive, or even just like 450 pounds. And I was shooting for 405 pounds. My deadlift went from 315 pounds, which is 3 plates, to 390 pounds. I think I could have gone further on the deadlift as well, but I was extremely scared of just snapping my shit up. I thought that I was just gonna break in half like a twig. My deadlift form is fine, right? Just looking at it from my not pro perspective. I was lifting at a lower weight, and if I felt like I couldn't go all the way up, then I didn't try to force it because I didn't want to throw out my back somehow. However, even with my fear of moving up in weight, I still got to 390 pounds for 1 rep on deadlift. And I'm extremely happy with that. That's extremely close to 405 pounds. And 405 pounds was my ultimate goal, which I honestly thought in the back of my head was shooting for the stars. I did attempt 395 pounds for 1, which I almost did. I honestly think I could have done it if I just powered through it, but I pussied out, man. And I just dropped the weight. I was like, I can't do it. I'm way too scared. I think I'm going to snap my shit up. My squat Smith did progress pretty nicely. Not as much as I would like for it to, but I think my depth and form is a lot better. While the strength did go up, I'm a lot more focused on form here, and I think that I've been able to go deeper on my squat with higher weights, which indicates a strength gain, and I'm extremely happy with that. So to wrap it up, strength has increased more than I think it should have while I was maintaining, because if you watch like the Iron Musket video on main gaining,
Greg Doucette's a freaking liar. He's worse than Hitler.
And the other people who came back and said like, yeah, like main gaining, I had a stalled bench press for like 6 months, or there's people going into like, none of my lifts progressed while I was main gaining for a year. And my lifts went up during the 12 weeks of using turkesterone and ecdysterone, which means I can possibly attribute my strength gain to turkesterone and ecdysterone. My body weight didn't change. My calories didn't change. So I was at maintenance, but my strength went up. That's Pretty nice. So now after strength, I'm going to go over physique, which was honestly disappointing because I care more about my physique than my strength. I would rather be really impressive physique-wise as opposed to strong in the gym. And looking at my physique comparison, I've gone over it several times. I don't really see much of a difference, which also adds up to no body weight change. The only difference or differences that I can see between day 84 and day 1 is the progression in my back. My back looks a little bit wider. And even through lighting differences, if I try to like outline my back on the before end compared to my after back, I think my back got a little bit like wider or thicker. And also my lower back is a little bit thicker as well, which makes sense, right? Deadlift progression, whole added pull day, I'm gonna progress my back a bit. This is not really something that I think I can attribute to the ecdysteroids. I did progress while main gaining. You can say that it was the ecdysteroids because of that, or you can just say it's because I added in a day to progress specifically my back. And also I had a whole day of deadlifting in my routine. But beyond that, my physique, even through the lighting differences, my physique does not look that different. If I do look different in some shots, it's probably just because of posing changes or better posing. I did all posing fasted right after I woke up. And yeah, the only difference that I see is that I think I have a thicker back. Slightly. So now let's go into side effects. Going into this, I was already aware of side effects which may be occurring from some things in Turk Builder, right? And Turk Builder has ashwagandha in it. And ashwagandha has some liver toxicity, which is actually not what I was worried about. I was worried about another side effect, which is called anhedonia.
Now, the next mechanism of action that we're going to talk about real quick is ashwagandha's ability to increase serotonin signaling. Now, ashwagandha does this primarily by, one, increasing the expression of the 5-HT2A receptor, as well as possibly even increasing just general levels of serotonin as well. Now, this is one of the primary mechanisms by which ashwagandha exerts its antidepressant effects. However, for those that already have sufficient serotonin signaling, there are a number of side effects to keep in mind here, namely what is known as anhedonia. Now, anhedonia is a condition in which you lose motivation and lose pleasure and lose libido, and this is largely because when you dramatically increase serotonin signaling, that it also will dramatically decrease dopamine signaling, and because dopamine is such a motivating and somewhat makes doing things feel good, when you suppress dopamine too much, you tend to lose pleasure in things that you typically enjoy doing. And so this is definitely a side effect to keep in mind here. However, one of the primary ways that you can mitigate against this effect is to simply just consume dopaminergic precursors like phenylalanine, tyrosine, and mucuniprins. Now, if you actually end up experiencing this, I do think it is super important that you immediately discontinue ashwagandha supplementation. However, for those that are continuing to take it and want to prevent this from happening in the first place, again, taking dopamine precursors is a good method to mitigate against the risk of this side effect.
Anhedonia sounds extremely scary because it sounds like clinical depression. You don't feel anything, and the things that you usually enjoy doing do not make you happy, right? And I would bet my money on it if I were to be forced to choose one or the other. If I was to be forced to choose if I was going through anhedonia or not going through anhedonia, I would bet my money on me going through anhedonia. So anhedonia apparently occurs when you take ashwagandha at too high of a dose for too long. And that's why if you look at like some literature, I think the studies are showing that it's safe to use for a 3-month period. And I've been on Turk Builder for 6 months, right? So if I was ever going to get any side effect from ashwagandha, it would be now, because I've been on it at a really high dose at, I think, double the recommended like max efficacious dose a long time, for way longer than I should have. if I am susceptible to that side effect, then I would go through it no matter who I was. And I want to bet that I did start going through anhedonia. And the reason why I think I started going through anhedonia is because things that I really enjoyed, I did not enjoy. I'm a massive video game addict, right? My gaming setup, 3 monitors, even my mic, I did this for streaming video games. And the video games that I usually enjoy playing, I did not really enjoy anymore. Not because I was sick of them, but it just felt like I was going through the motions, right? You know, like when I say going through the motions, it's like if you drive to work every day and it's just going through the motions. And that's what playing video games felt like to me. The ones that I like really, really used to enjoy, I found to just feel like I was going through the motions, which was really concerning. And even my dad said that I seemed a little bit off and I would often seem lethargic or something, even though I wasn't like cutting. I was just there. And it didn't make any sense to me because I felt like I was normal, because I wasn't sad. But after like looking further into the side effects of ashwagandha, I was like, I think I am going through this. And coincidentally, the formula for Turk Builder has actually changed so that if you're taking 6 pills a day, you will no longer be taking a mega dose of ashwagandha. Megadosing ashwagandha is not good, in my opinion, and is from my own use. But now if you take 6 pills of Turk Builder with the new formula, which they're selling now, you will be at the maxed out efficacious dose, which is extremely good. It also has a reduced dose of vitamin E, which was also something that I was going to talk about. But if vitamin E is already reduced, then I'm not going to talk about it in this video. But new formula of Turk Builder, I recommend this new formula over the one that I've been using for the past 6 months. That side effect is not directly related to the ecdysteroids. However, it is potentially true that ecdysteroids can cause kidney disease, which is alarming. And I learned this through the Exercise for Cheat Meals video about ecdysone causing kidney disease. I found this reading really quick that I'm pretty sure just taking astragalus extract or astragalus root extract is enough to protect your kidney, or you could otherwise just cycle off of the ecdysteroids because you don't really need to perpetually be on them, and they're kind of expensive anyway. So if you're going to use them for long term, start taking astragalus root extract. I talked about this in my video, which covered Exercise for Cheat Meals video about ecdysone causing kidney disease. I didn't really go through anything while taking these. My dad could have slipped these into my drinks and my food in like a powder form that's flavorless, and I would not know that I'm using any. So now I'm going to go through everything that went wrong with the trial. First of all, my injuries, right? These like really small minor injuries, but they definitely got in the way of me progressing my lift. I talked about them earlier. My left trap was injured twice through this trial, and my elbows started to develop like tennis elbow, and especially in this right elbow. This right elbow got extremely bad. Without these injuries, I would have been able to progress further on my lifts without a doubt. However, these injuries also may be telling that my strength was progressing too fast for my body to handle it. That would be an argument for the ecdysteroids working. Also, just living life means that this trial is not 100% controlled. During the days where I was just living life and going out, I would not be able to track my calories or do the dosages at the same controlled times. So while I would still get the same amount of pills in, it was spread out throughout the day at different times, or I wasn't able to work out at the same days, or my calories, if I couldn't count them for the whole day, would just go completely out the door. And I would just assume I'm like, well, I probably ate 4,000 calories today, so I'm screwed. And, you know, being human and not a test subject means that this isn't completely controlled, which is bad to try and go off of data to show if something works, because then it's just truly anecdotal. But if my anecdotal experience is based off of just normal human use, then it'll prove that It'll probably work in normal humans if I'm proving that it works, right? Still anecdotal, so take it how you will. After all that, right, I'm going to make an actual conclusion and argue why it might be working, right? So beyond the lack of human data, the only existence of some rodent data, and the only thing that people are running off of pretty much is like this anecdotal data of every product of turkesterone, and people are just like, well, it worked for me.
Next group here is dudes who took turkesterone and started training harder because they really wanted it to be the magic pill that they need.
If I were to look at my own data, I can't look at my body weight changes and say that it worked. If I were to look at only my body weight changes, it doesn't work. If I were to look at only my physique, it doesn't work. However, looking at my body weight compared to my strength progression, I think indicates that the ecdysteroids did work for me. I think that the fact that I was main gaining, which people don't think works, right? And I stayed at the same body weight, but my strength progressed, and I'm not weak, right? I'm not like new in the gym. Lifting for almost 11 years, dialed in lifting and diet and routine for almost 6 years. My lifts are up to advanced level, and I gained a lot of strength through this 12-week trial. With those in mind, you can possibly say that ecdysteroids do work. And I'm just going to say that it worked for me, just based off of strength and the fact that it was gained while main gaining. There is a problem with this, right? So I gained strength. Fantastic. Love strength. But the cost is really bad. And Vitruvian Physique covered this in 2 separate videos, which I'll flag up here. One of them was his conclusion of his turkesterone use series, and one of them was, I think, an ashwagandha video recently. Really good content. I would be honestly surprised if you don't know who Vitruvian Physique is and you're watching this video. He actually compared turkesterone's cost efficiency to actual anabolics. If you had someone approach you and they were like, hey man, I'm going to show you how to progress your lift 40 pounds over 12 weeks. It's going to cost you $432. Would you take that? Probably not. Most people just go, when I say most people, I'm pretty sure everyone would rather go to purchase a program from like Jeff Nippard for $30. I think that's how much it costs. Okay, Jeff Nippard's programs actually cost $40 to $50. And I'm going to argue buying a program that you believe in for the $40 to $50 range is much superior to buying anecdotal evidence and rodent data backed products for $432. I didn't use the whole $432 worth of product over the 12-week period, but I had to spend $432 to be able to use it for 12 weeks because I wanted to use a high dose, but it's ridiculous, right? Creatine costs, I don't know, like $20 for 3 months. And you can get a whole new program from whoever you want. You like Alex Eubank, sure, go buy his. Buy whoever program you want. You can go buy Greg's. You can go buy Niall Naga's. You can go buy Brandon Harding's. You can go buy Chris Bumstead's. You can go buy Joffrey Schofield's, right? You can literally buy like all of these programs and it would still be cheaper than my 12 weeks worth of ecdysteroids. While I do think it works, it's really only for people who are dialed in and really need it, right? You want to gain 20 to 40 pounds in your bench press for $400, but you don't want to become enhanced? Sure, try it. What if it doesn't work for you? Then fuck, man. You spent over $400 on nothing. And that's the whole problem with these compounds. Until the science comes out, it's like, well, should I even take it? People who have the money? Sure. I have honestly had to change the things that I eat to afford using these compounds, right? I used to have like a more decorated low calorie diet, but I've recently started going back to the basics of like eggs and potatoes and rice and chicken breast. And I used to be able to eat like these like fancy keto cereals or Magic Spoon or whatever. And just to make room to use these, first I used Turk Builder for 6 months. And this I used for 3 months. Just to make room for those, I had to adjust my budgeting. And is it really worth it? Up to you. For me, I thought it was going to be an interesting YouTube series. So my answer is, I just wanted to document it. It gets my foot into the door for YouTube. And I thought It would be interesting. If someone else were to make this series, I would watch it. And I have. I've watched Cooper Doran stuff, and I've watched Vitruvian Physiques. So I wanted to make a YouTube series. I want to make YouTube fitness content. And this is my foot in the door. For other people who are just using this, probably budget it out. Put everything out in front of you. Do you want to have better food? Or just more interesting food? Do you want to go out more often with your friends and family? Do you want to get every training routine that exists on Earth? Or do you want to try turkesterone and ecdysterone? At that point, just hop on test or something, you know?
Every edge, they're doing everything in their power to get this little edge in the gym, like turkesterone, Ecdy, all this stuff. If they want the gains that bad, in my opinion, it's like, dude, just hop on test if you want something tried and true.
That's a joke. Stay natural. However, if you are going to take these and you're really set on spending the money on these, you should be educated on which ones are higher quality or the best bang for your buck, right? Believe it or not, this ecdysterone, despite the price, is probably the worst ecdysterone you can buy on the market. I made a whole video on it. It's going to be in the description. I'm going to pin a comment with it. Do not buy this ecdysterone, right? Buy someone else's that you believe in. I recommend Derek's ecdysterone from Intelligent Elephant. Turkesterone, luckily, I actually have no problem recommending Greg's turkesterone because of the price point that it sits at. If you buy a 5-pack of Turk Builder, it is half the cost of turkesterone from Derek. And at that point, it really comes down to, do you believe in hydroxypropyl beta cyclodextrin and the molecular science behind it? If it works, who knows? Do you believe in it? Who knows? However, in the future, I am going to be having a 3-month-long trial of using Derek's turkesterone, which I'm honestly excited for because I want to know if the complex makes any difference. So, turkesterone, I would stick to Derek's and Greg's. Chris Bumstead's sponsor literally only sells it by itself at a high price, so avoid them. Ecdysterone, do not buy the one that I use through this trial. Buy Derek's or maybe even Huge Supplements or whoever you believe in, right? Just stay educated. Make an educated decision. And that wraps up all of my points. There is a lot in this video, so much, and I have more videos to come, but this is the finale of my turkesterone and ecdysterone use. I'm gonna actually be cycling off of all Ecdysteroids for the next month, and I'm making a video about that. I also have a few other videos on the back burner. I have my dad's use of Turk Builder for 3 months. I have a comparison video of Gorilla Mode versus HTLT pre-workout, and then after that, I'm going to be documenting 12 weeks of turkesterone from Derek More Place More Dates, which was expensive, but it's going to be interesting. And the entire purpose is to honestly compare these two products. So please subscribe. My goal currently is to reach 1,000 subscribers. I'm going to be uploading as regularly as I can. It's been really hard to find things that I can upload videos on or products I can use. But I think the next big series that I have is using Derek's turkesterone. And it's going to be done to purposely compare Derek's to Greg's turkesterone. So subscribe for that. I'll start uploading that in about a month from this video. And thank you for watching. Have a fantastic life. Fantastic day, night, or whatever, man. And hopefully I'll see you all again on another video in my comments section or something. Thanks. Anyway, choose.